Homework S1, question 4. In part A, we're asked to calculate the value of the product moment correlation coefficient from the table that is given in the question sheet. Our calculator can do this if we go to the statistics mode and select option 2 for y equals a plus bx. Now, as on the previous questions in the homework, every time you go for this option, it resets the table, so I'm going to have to enter this information in now. Here's all our information filled in. Once I got that done, press option 4 for regression calculation, and as well as being able to create the regression line, there's our value of r there, 0.384 to 3 significant figures. In part B, we're asked to carry out a one-tailed hypothesis test to test whether there is a positive correlation between the number of press-ups achieved and the time taken to complete the 100 meters. We need to state our hypothesis clearly, and we're working at a 5% significant level. So our null hypothesis is that our population correlation coefficient ρ is equal to 0. Now, our alternate hypothesis in this case is that ρ is greater than 0. We think that there is a positive correlation, so we don't need to do a not equals to this time, we need to do a greater than 0. We have our sample size, n equal to 9. For this, we then need to compare to the back page of the formula book for a sample size of n and a 5% significance level. Because it's one-tailed, I don't need to halve that to 0.025, and I compare it to the number here, 0.5822. That is, if there is no correlation, there is only a 5% chance of us achieving a correlation of this level at random of 0.5822. If we have a correlation greater than this value, then that is likely to be coming because there is actually a correlation, not because there is no correlation. It's just determined at random. So if the value of r that we found in part A is greater than this value, there is enough evidence to reject the null hypothesis. If it is less than this value, there is not enough evidence to reject the null hypothesis. We don't have enough to suggest that this isn't just occurring at random, that there's a relationship. So the value that we found was 0.384. And that is less than the 0.5822 from the table. So in this case, there is insufficient evidence to reject the null hypothesis. Okay, there is not enough evidence to suggest a correlation between time taken to run 100 meters and the number of push-ups. Achieved in a minute. Now that second sentence where we talk about not having the evidence to suggest a correlation between the time taken and the number of push-ups should be enough to get both marks in the final case, but I think it's worth it to do it in non-distinct terms, to talk about it in terms of the null hypothesis, whether you have evidence or not, because sometimes this final mark has keywords that you need to get in to get the mark, and just doing a blanket statement about the null hypothesis just covers your bases just in case you miss out one of those keywords.